Born free as the wind blows, as free as the grass grows, born free to follow your heart. Hey, how we doing? It's JJ. Listen, I'm no Andy Williams, but always loved that lyric and those lyrics to that song Born Free, and what a fantastic film that is as well. I'm just out on a wander today. I've returned back to the RSPB Sandy Lodge, the HQ for the RSPB, because the reserve's open in a limited capacity. And when I'm normally out, I'm doing filming about camp kit and doing reviews and cooking and setups and things like that. But today I've just wanted to return back to a place I love to come. It's an absolutely amazing place. I love coming here, and I just want to revel in nature. I just want to walk around and I absorb the scenery, listen to the bird song, look at the flowers, because I've got a massive love for the outdoors, a huge love. I love nature, I love wildlife, and I just wanted to take you along with me today. I might be waxing lyrical about what it is that inspires me to get out and what fascinates me about wildlife. So yeah, just come along on my walk today. It's not going to be a long video, but let's enjoy. Catch you in a bit. You know, even when you can't actually hear the birds, but you can hear their bird song, it's still a magical thing. There's a male blackbird up in there somewhere having a sing song, calling out. I can just hear behind me there's a great tit calling out. I just love listening to birdsong and being able to actually recognise different birdsong. It's something that I've done from a very early age, being able to recognise goldfinches, long-tailed tits, great tit, blue tit, blackbird. The song of a skylark is absolutely amazing to hear in the fields at this time of year. It is an absolute wonder and a joyous sound. It lifts the heart. Chiff chaff, all sorts. They're all quite recognisable once you get your ear dialed in. Just lifts the heart. Brilliant. Hoping I might hear the raven today. We'll see, we'll see. I've always, from a real young age, had a massive love for the outdoors, nature, wildlife, fauna and flora. Been fascinated by it. You know, as a young kid, I was just always outdoors, as I'm sure a lot of us were, but I wanted to read books. I was always asking for books about wildlife. I found it amazing that a dragonfly or a damselfly could spend the majority of its life underwater as a larva, and then a nymph, and then emerge from the water shed its skin and become this fascinating dragonfly darting about hunting for insects. The migration of animals and birds that will travel tens of thousands of miles backwards and forwards, winter and summer feeding and breeding grounds. I've always loved birds. And it's just by being outdoors, it's that sound as the breeze just gently blows through the leaves and the treetops, gently swaying. It's that sound, it's a very soothing, calming sound, and it's movement as well. When you see the grass blow across fields, I love that movement. It works wonders for your mental health as well as your, spiritual health, your soul, your well-being. I just love it. The reserves have been closed for months and now they're reopening bit by bit. They're not fully open. Certain parts of the reserves have to remain closed, but you can still get out and you can still wander. And if you can't get out to reserves, find a place for nature in your back garden or your front garden. Build a little bug hotel. Put a little bath out for birds. A little pond that gently slopes down so that nothing, like hedgehogs and that, if they go in, they're going to submerge into deep water. You need it on different levels. Put bird feeders out. But for me, when I'm outdoors, I just love seeing nature. The more time that I actually spend outdoors, I feel more comfortable. I'm always learning about plant species, tree species, flowers, and I really know my wildlife, I really do. But the more time you actually spend in that environment, the more you feel comfortable, the more you feel at home, the more you sort of feel you belong and you can blend in. I'm a man of the outdoors, and I always will be. And I've got my dad to thank for that. My dad has had a massive impact on my life, my love for the outdoors, just letting me run wild and free as a kid. Just used to just let me go out. It was brilliant. I've learned so much from my dad, and now I push that knowledge on, and I want to share that knowledge, and I want to share that love that I have. What's not to love? I hope you, in some capacity or form or way, can find a place for nature in your heart as well. I'm going to carry on and have a wander. Oh, take a little stop. It's a warm day and Justin does not do heat. I'm 1 year away from being 50 years old, but I still revel in getting outdoors, and I still revel in nature. And I was very fortunate, I was born in the early 70s. I grew up in the 70s and into the 80s, and I grew up watching Johnny Morris on the Animal Magic show and then the Really Wild show. And I've always loved, Sir David Attenborough, Sir David Bellamy, and Terry Nutkins. Brilliant. Loved Terry Nutkins when I was younger. He was brilliant because he had a finger bitten off by one of the otters that he'd hand reared from rescue. And I grew up with programs like that. And when I was becoming a teenager, I then, although I was going into the cadets, it was great because being in the cadets and in the army taught me a lot about camouflage and concealment, which has served me really well since then. Being able to go out and track wildlife and do wildlife spotting and just to be able to sit in the environment and just make yourself almost invisible, especially if you just want to spot and film wildlife. And you know, I then sort of, it was around that time in the 80s, and that the bush tucker man came about. You remember the bush tucker man? Got to watch his videos, are on YouTube. He had a few series out, the bush tucker man, and that's where I started to get interested in, you know, the bushcraft and the survival stuff. Fascinating. And then Ray Mears started to come along, and I've been very fortunate to have actually met Ray Mears in person a couple of times. And then of course we got the classic Lofty Wiseman, again another man that I've met at the Bushcraft show, and his book, you know, the SAS Survival Handbook, you know, that was an absolute must, and still is for most people. And nowadays, you know, you've got the likes of Steve Backshall, you've got Ben Fogle, you've still got Ray Mears, you know, you've got Bear Grylls, you've got all these other explorers that are going out there and creating programs, and nature and wildlife documentaries, Spring Watch, Autumn Watch, and that's fascinating, and I still love those programs. And the beauty of it is that these things are still being put out there. It's a lot about, you know, discovery, getting outdoors and making the most of it, and that encourages the next generation to have that love for being outdoors. And on a day like this, you know, I'm just having a wander today, but you know, normally I'd be up here, up at my spot with a lavoo, and it's brilliant. So, you know, people are out in their hammocks, and that's it. So I'm just going to go and have a wander. There you go, just a little pit stop. Catch you in a bit. So I have wound my way around the reserve, and I have come back to my spot. Here we go, it's just a few little logs that's set down there, and I'd normally have moved this longer one here, moved that out the way, and I normally put the half lavoo there with a ridge line going over to either of those two small little silver birch saplings just there. Early last year they actually started to fell and take out a lot of trees and that here, and wow, as the bracken really grown up, it's up at chest height. Normally I can see pretty clearly out to that tree just there, and that, but it's kind of good that it's actually really grown up, because when I come to this spot, the idea is I'm off the beaten trail, and now it will hide me even more. So let me just pop you down a second. Hang on. Yeah, it's just nice. I haven't been here. Let's just pop that there. I haven't been here for over 3 months. Doesn't really look like anyone's been around, and that's absolutely fantastic. You know, I wouldn't expect to. The reserve's been closed. Obviously people could still walk through if they wanted to. But yeah, it's just really good to come back and be here. It feels like home to me. I've been coming to the lodge now for 2 and a bit years, 2.5 years maybe, and this is always the spot that I like to come to and get set up at. It's off the beaten track, especially now this bracken's really grown up. I am nicely hidden. I've got these few logs here sort of set up because these are just taken from some trees that were cut down in sections and just left, and I've just moved them here. It serves as a nice little bit of a bench seating area, or when I can put my kit on here when I've got the lavoo. It's just really nice to come back. I just feel comfortable, I feel relaxed, as I always do when I'm outdoors. It's just nice to come back, to be surrounded by nature for a few hours, and I hope you get that opportunity soon. I really do. No matter where you are, no matter what the restrictions are, I hope you get the opportunity to get out and spend the time in nature, because that's what I love doing, and that is what I am all about. Listen, that's enough from me today. I'm going to chill out for a little bit, and then I'm going to go home. I'm happy. I'm in a happy place. Thanks for tuning in. We'll catch up again soon. Bye. Happy. Just happy.